Welcome to Back to Business. I'm Travis Yussef. Today, we have the pleasure of sitting down with Debra Becker of ICandy Meals. Debra, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Yeah, so Deb, let's just go right into it. So talk a little bit about your background and how you came up.
Okay. Well, ICandy is a customized meal plan. I got into the business because I have my master's in education and I started competing. And I didn't know much about macros. And macros just basically means protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So when I started competing, I hired a coach and they really pushed macros. And for me, I was fit, loved working out, but I didn't realize that food really is 80% of getting results, meaning changing your body composition. So again, I was, pretty lean, but didn't realize you can really change the muscle composition with food. So a coach, so a coach I hired, I was used to eating 2 or 3 meals a day. Coach I hired, it's like, you need to eat 5 meals a day. And for me, that was scary, and especially being a woman in the fitness industry, I think we're brought up to eat less, work out more to get results.
I was going to say now, are these normal size meals or are they a little bit smaller than what would consider? Because normally people are just eating what? A breakfast, lunch, and a dinner.
Right.
Maybe a snack here and there.
Right.
But is this more, talk to a little...
It's customized. So believe it or not, we even have portion size on the website. So we have small, medium, and large, meaning small would be 4 ounces of protein, medium would be 6 ounces of protein, and the large would be 8 ounces of protein. So it's fully customizable how you want to, create your own meal plan, basically.
So for those meals, though, specifically that you were getting then, those 5 meals, because you said it sounded like a lot.
I did.
What were the size of those?
That would be a medium size for me. So this was more food than I was ever used to before. And believe it or not, I was eating these 5 meals a day, every 3 hours. And I was so full the first couple of weeks, like I can't possibly eat another meal until I got to my 3rd week. And I was like a baby on a feeding schedule. Like, when's my next meal? I'm ravishing. What happened? How come this was so much food? So the old school theory of counting calories didn't really work for this type of meal plan that I was on. And I was getting better results than I was ever counting calories before. Because again, that was kind of my train of thought of how I was brought up in the fitness industry. You count your calories, but the quality of macros is so much more important for changing your body composition.
Sure. Now how long were you in the fitness industry, and are you still?
Well, believe it or not, I started working out when I was 18, and I am close to 50 now. So 30 years, but I started competing when I was 40. It was kind of on my bucket list, something I always wanted to do. And I literally put myself in my first show, and I put myself in every category, not thinking I would hit anyone. And I literally took every single category. And then I was realizing that there is something to food, and this was the missing component for me. 2 shows later, I became a pro. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great, Deb. No, that's awesome. So now what really inspired you to start ICandy? Obviously, with the food and everything, you found that was really important. Is there a special person or a special story that you have?
Believe it or not, ICandy Meals started with one individual. I was a certified personal trainer. And this gentleman came to me. He was very obese. He came to me with one goal in mind: to lose 100 pounds in 6 months. I told him I was a little bit afraid that I needed a doctor's note because he was so obese, and he also had he was also pre-diabetic, a celiac, so he couldn't have gluten. And on top of me training him twice a week, he wanted me to write him a meal plan. And I said, again, come back with a doctor's note. I need the doctor's approval that we can do this.
Absolutely.
Came back to me with the doctor's note, and then told me that he needs to lose 100 pounds in 6 months. So I was like, that's very aggressive. I said, your doctor would never tell you that. What is the real story? This gentleman was in the fire department. He had a bet going with his friends that he couldn't do it in 6 months. So that was the real story. So this was a challenge for me.
All right. Now, was he able to get to that 100 pounds, or?
So that's where I'm going with the ICandy Meals. So 4 months of me writing him a meal plan. He's following it. His mom is making his meals. He loses 75 pounds first 4 months.
Wow.
Beautiful transition to see. Feeling great, feeling energized, walking around better than I've ever seen before. It was really, like I said, it was a beautiful journey to watch. However, he starts gaining weight. and he wouldn't tell me what's going on because I'm following the meal plan. I said, there's something that's not right. He confesses and tells me that his mother is no longer making the meals.
Okay.
And didn't have the time to make the meals anymore. So I had to think of a plan B. So I started shopping around to other meal prep companies on Long Island. Now, remember, this client is a celiac, pre-diabetic, had issues with sodium. I couldn't get the macros, the protein, the fat, the carbohydrates to be correct for this client. So I was concerned.
Sure.
And I happened to hook up with a New York Board of Health chef. Okay. He was a co-packer for me. He said, just tell me how much protein, fat, and carbohydrates, which ones he prefers. You tell me how much. So I'm basically writing him in the meal plan, and he's just cooking the food.
Oh, wow.
And that's what we started. And iCandy literally started like this. So now this client got his results. Yep. I have testimonials on my website, www.ICandyMeals.com. I have endless amount of testimonials there. But now, as I was personal training, there was no excuse. Now you have the food, you have the meal plan that goes along with the food, and now you can customize it yourself online and get the results that you're trying to seek.
Yeah, no, awesome, Deb. And now, how long has iCandy been around for?
4 years.
Wonderful. Yeah. And how are things going?
Very good. Yeah, very good. Website's doing amazing. Again, it's kind of taking me more out of the equation. Now you can customize it yourself. If you're a celiac, you can simply click gluten-free. Yep. There's a little button there. You are a keto client. Maybe you don't prefer your carbs. You can go on there, pick your portion size, whatever you want to do. It's all there for you.
Yeah, you said it's really easy to go on there. And like you said, super customizable. So for whatever, if you do have restrictions and whatnot, which I think is great.
Right.
It's interesting, though, especially over these last couple of years, if not even the last 10, 20 years, I have family, my mother, my aunt actually have celiac disease. So a lot of people aren't familiar with that. Right. But I've seen kind of the transition from what foods were available like 20, 30 years ago, and now what is more, readily available now. Right. Do you find that with that change, you're seeing a difference?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really don't believe a lot of celiacs had choices before. It was very hard for them, And even people that are not celiacs, I mean, look how many people are gluten sensitive now that we have an awareness to. Yeah. So that's really what makes it set apart from other meal prep companies out there.
Which is great. Now talk to me a little bit about how you source your ingredients. Are there specific criteria to ensure the quality and sustainability?
Absolutely, yeah. We use locally sourced. We use Crescent, which is one of our carriers, does most of our proteins. Our kitchen is located right in Farmingdale. Great. We are a commercial kitchen. We're not open to the public because we generate everything through the website. Maybe in the future, but right now the system is working really well for us. If you see on the label that tells you how long they are fresh for, 4 days, we also ship twice a week. So this is completely fresh food. This is not frozen. We ship out on Wednesday. We ship out on Sunday. So you have the option. Great. So if you want to purchase, 3 meals a day for 7 days a week, 21 meals, we can split your order up. So you constantly have fresh food.
Oh, perfect. Now, are you only delivering to Long Island specifically?
No, we deliver to Queens, Brooklyn, North Jersey.
Oh, great. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're kind of all over. Yeah. No, that's awesome, Deb. Yeah. No, it's really great. You. Now, you've been in business for the last 4 years, especially the last 4 years that we've been through. What kind of challenges did you face when starting iCloud, and how were you able to overcome those?
Yeah, iCandy was a challenge in the beginning. The co-packer I used in the beginning couldn't keep up with the volume. I was very fortunate. iCandy really did really well really quickly. Word of mouth, social media. But me and the co-packer had a falling out, and he couldn't keep up with quality and consistency. Okay. I had to take the bulls by the horn, and I had to do it myself. Sure. And I hired a whole team, and we do it. And it's been a beautiful system because I have full control of everything now. Okay. And we incorporate a new meal every single week, So we keep it interesting, especially for our clients that are on a meal plan. They want something to look forward to every week.
Sure. Keeping it fresh, which is great. Right. Always important just to kind of change things up. Absolutely. Do a little something different. Talk to me about how you determine the menu options and, again, catering to so many different, dietary preferences.
You know, I try to just keep up with the times and what's going on. And, you know, like right now, fall season, we're focusing on and doing.
Yeah, we have a couple things here, right?
Right. Of course, I didn't bring in fall season stuff, but
no, that's okay.
We're going to incorporate a pumpkin overnight oat. We try to keep it fun and interesting. We're going to focus on the Jewish holidays, doing a family style for Rosh Hashanah. We're going to introduce a meal.
Awesome.
You know, again, so we think about the community. Community is very important to us.
Sure. Right. No, definitely. It's so important. You know, and talking a little bit about the community, you know, do you have, are you able to share any initiatives that ICandy Meals has to support the local community?
Well, we just supported St. Jude's Hospital. We provided the food for that event. So I was really proud to be part of that right now.
Yeah. No, awesome, Deb. Talk to us about like any feedback from customers of food that particularly stands out, or maybe like a top one meal or like a top three, you know, that people really enjoy.
They're right here.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Oh, great.
As much as we have
segue.
an amazing chef, I created this. I Am Greek, so we're doing Greek chicken kebabs. My goal was to really cook it on a skewer. That's hard to do in meal prep. There's a lot of preparation to cook food on a skewer. Believe it or not, it's labor intensive.
Yeah.
But this was one of my favorites, you know, grilled on a barbecue, done the right way. Our shrimp chipotle bowl is one of our newest ones too, doing very well. These are the small portions, and again, you have the option of making larger if need be.
Yeah, awesome. And then, you know, all the ingredients are on here.
Everything is labeled.
Right, the calories, everything.
I forgot to mention we work with a registered dietitian, so she actually curates the labels for us. She does it all, so she takes all the guesswork out, which is really nice because we always have to worry about, you know, like our allergens here. You can see they're listed right here.
Yeah.
But that was a really important component that came onto ICandy later on this past year, whereas now we work with a registered dietitian.
Awesome. Yeah. No, that's great, Deb. Where do you see ICandy going in the next 5-10 years?
We're really going to focus on nationwide shipping.
Great.
Getting it out there. We're trying to get into the hospitals right now. Really want to provide for them. Any kind of charity event, we're always eager to help. I'm really big in supporting women in business.
Yep.
That's a special place in my heart.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, for sure. So far, what's been the most rewarding aspect of running ICandy?
I think making a difference in people's life. You know, most of the clients that come to me are very frustrated. They've tried everything. You know, they feel so frustrated, and I really do try. My hardest job, let me put it to you this way, is getting people to unlearn what they've learned.
Totally.
Yeah. So once they come to me and they trust me, when I see the trust happens and they get the results and they're like, thank you so much, I'm actually eating more than I ever have, that's where the reward comes from.
Yeah. No, for sure. Because you're making a difference. You know, you're impacting them, and no matter what regard that is. And a lot of people don't think about how important food is, you know, and how important our health is, you know, so. And
just feeling better too. I have one client, David, he is at 147 pounds. We almost got him down to 150 loss, 150 pounds. Oh, wow. He was in a wheelchair when I started with him. He walks around, he's in the gym now.
See, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Right.
You know, and I think that's huge, especially to be able to help somebody else.
Right.
You know, I mean, isn't that why we're all here? But to help each other, you know, to really make sure that, you know, if you are able to help someone, whether that's giving them a word of advice, whether that's giving them an opportunity to really change their life, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really great, Deb.
Thank you.
Talk about balancing the demands of just running a business with your personal life. I know we didn't talk too much a little bit about your personal life, but talk to us about that.
Oh, I am a mom of 3. Wow. I have twin 9-year-old boys and a 16-year-old girl that's she's a senior this year.
Okay.
Life is challenging. Running a business is challenging. I eat, breathe, sleep, bleed this business. I'm not going to lie. This is a passion of mine. Balancing is a challenge. I'm not going to lie. But I do it. I try to invest as much time as I can with my kids. Again, I do have a really good team now where I can kind of fall back on them. The kitchen kind of runs itself now. I'm in there, but all I have to do really is check up on them now.
Sure.
You know, and that's really where I am right now. Is really I finally built the team to where I wanted it to be.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. And it's so important to be able to have those people to really, you know, they have your back.
Right.
which is great.
Right.
Is there anything special that you do as far as like, decompression? Is there yoga? Is there a meditation?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a yoga once a week. I have to work out, for me.
Well, yes. Yeah.
But for me, working out is more for my mind than anything else.
Totally. Well, as they say, it's the poor person's psychologist.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
It's the best antidepressant.
Definitely. And, I grew up in a, bodybuilding family. My father was a bodybuilder, so I totally understand having to go and just get that workout because really it is your de-stressor.
Right.
It's kind of your time to go focus on yourself. During that, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, whatever that might look like, so that you can be your best for yourself.
Right.
So that you can be your best for others.
Right.
Which is important, especially for you and your kids,
right.
Which is because that's really what you're building it for. Right?
And I think it's really important to have your kids see you as a role model for them, that health and fitness is important.
Totally.
That's a lot of obesity in this country is because, moms and dads are running around ragged, working their butts off, and they're just not focusing on themselves. And kids learn from their parents.
Totally. Yeah. And especially when it comes to nutrition.
Absolutely.
Putting the right things in your body. And of course, look, there's days where, you can have a little cheat meal here, there,
absolutely,
but I think that it is important. And again, you're making habits for people as well. Because I think that's always the tough thing, especially like when it comes to meal prep. It's like, all right, so I have Sunday. Great. So I'm going to cook these meals and then I'm going to only have them until Wednesday and then I got to cook it again. But then it's like something happens during Wednesday and you're like, oh man. So why not the ease of something like this?
It's really convenient and it comes to your doorstep. It comes in an insulated bag. We have ice in there. If you're not home for a couple hours, it's done for you. We take the guesswork out of it. Easy. Nobody has time to go food shopping anymore, let alone pack the bags, get to the store, cook the meals.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
We're all working harder than we used to.
Totally. And it's like, you have your day job and then, if you're a parent or a guardian or someone that takes care of someone, then you have that job.
Absolutely.
And then you have the housework and everything, so yeah. What advice would you give to somebody that's, interested in starting their own business?
Just do it. Fear holds a lot of people back. You just got to jump in there and figure it out as you go. I know I tend to be an overthinker, but sometimes you just got to jump. Yeah. And you figure it out as you go.
Sure. Yeah. And just kind of have that faith and that trust that it'll work out.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure there's obstacles, as you talked about before.
Right.
But you overcome them. Right. And I think that that's really important that, like you said, just do it. Again, we can all overthink. Right. I think there's, I don't even know exactly the percentage, but what is it, like 85% of the things that we think about won't actually ever happen. Right. So it's like, just go out. Like you said, just do it. Right. Just go for it. Build something.
Absolutely.
And again, you're building something, for your kids, which is so important.
You don't want to die with any regrets. That's the way I look at life.
For sure.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. That can haunt you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, you're proof that you're making it happen,
Thank you.
So, I know we talked a little bit, long term, you want to go national. Are there any short-term goals, that you're looking to do with iCandy?
Short term right now. So September was, we're focusing right now on back to school. So I really been hitting we have a sales representative that hits the gyms with us, but I've also been going in there and educating. I am working with the Ritz-Carlton right now, and I am starting on seminars with them, educating them about macros 101.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trying to give them a little bit understanding about food and what macros are and why they're important.
Yeah. Could you give us a little tidbit of that?
As far as what macros are?
Whatnot? Yeah. Just to give a little bit of knowledge,
Absolutely. So I know we started this interview a little bit about calories, but macros are super important. And this is how I try to break it down in simple form. So if you were on a calorie deficit and I gave you 1,000 calories for the day, and one client A had 1,000 calories of Twinkies. Okay. Client B had grilled chicken and asparagus, but still 1,000 calories.
Yep.
Client A with the Twinkies is going to feel like this. They're not going to have the same body composition as the client B that's eating grilled chicken and asparagus.
Totally.
So macros is so much more important. The types of foods that we eat are so much more important on how we feel physically and mentally. than just calories alone. So that's where if I was educating somebody with macros 101, that's where I would start.
Okay. Yeah. All right. No, that's great.
And carbohydrates are not evil. Everyone thinks carbohydrates are evil.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I feel like, there's all these different fads that have happened over the last, forever, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And it's like, well, what do you follow? Who do you listen to?
Right.
What's right? And I think it comes down to, I have a little bit of a background with exercise science. So it really comes down to what's your physiology? Right. What is your body made up of? And how are you able to process certain things? Right. Because like you said, someone with Twinkies and someone with grilled chicken, and asparagus, it's obviously two different bodies, but what is that difference of, well, what are your genes? Right. Right. A lot of that goes into it that I don't think people think about. Right. But you're totally right, especially with how you're going to feel. Right. The right foods do make you feel better. Absolutely. The fresher foods and whatnot. And not to say that you can't have, a cookie now and then or any of that, like to each his own, but just a healthier way of thinking about things. Absolutely. And an easier way, especially like when it comes to meal prep. Because I know for myself, it's that situation, where I start out on a Sunday and I'm just like, I guess I got to do this again. Yeah. So just having an option of easiness, is really great.
And super clean foods, and we don't use any seed oils either. So when you talked about how you feel, so I'm not a believer in that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. There's so much, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can go on and on about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So just talk to, we're coming up, we have a couple more minutes here. Yeah. Talk to us about, what do you want your customers to feel or think when they enjoy one of these meals?
Well, I could tell you what they do think right away. Great, I do make some check-ins with my clients. Some I work hand in hand with. And the first thing they will tell me immediately, and I'm literally the first 3 days, is that their energy feels better. Okay. So, their brain fog feels better. That's not every client, but that's what they're sleeping better. Yeah. Just because they're getting quality food. They're not eating the highly processed food anymore. They're really getting quality nutrition in their system. Mm-hmm. And that's usually what I hear across the board from most of my clients. Yeah.
Well, that's great. And that says something. Right. And kind of that proof is right there. Right. Especially when it comes to just that quality. Right. When it comes down to it.
Absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about how the meal process is created from concept then to delivery. I don't know if we had touched upon that before.
Concept as far as how we make the first meal?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, basically we work with our chef and we create a new meal for the week, and that meal is then promoted on social media. Okay. Great. Yeah, either I will talk about, this new meal, why we love it, and then we will put it on the website, and then the clients order it, and then when we introduce the meal Monday, the new meal will be out on Sunday, and then every week this rotates over and over again. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm sorry if you did mention that before. So you do have a new weekly
menu item every week.
Okay, every week. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. So keeping it fun and interesting.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So is it do the ideas come from you? Is it your main chef that they come from, or is it just a combination?
It's a collaboration. And we talked about putting something on social media, having a client introduce a new meal. I want to do a poll, what they want to incorporate. I would love to do something like that. Yeah. But that's basically how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Awesome. Talk to me a little bit about the slogan.
Oh.
Right?
So the name ICandy is ICandy, you are what you eat. So I try to turn everybody into ICandy. That's my goal.
Yeah. No, that's great.
With food. Yeah. So it's a cute term that, I actually patent that name. I do own I own the trademark. I'm sorry. I own the trademark on that name for fitness and food. So,
ICandy.
ICandy, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So. No, that's awesome. Hey, listen, that's what it's all about. And especially like when it comes to like the fitness world.
Yeah, it's meant to be cute.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You got to have fun with these.
Well, things. Because they always say you are what you eat, right? Like if you're
might as well be eye candy.
I think they came out with one of those commercials. Maybe it was like a couple years ago or last year, where they had like the potatoes. It's like, well, yeah, you're gonna eat potato chips. You're gonna look like a potato. You're a couch potato. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, Deb. So, is there anything else that you'd like to share about ICandy Meals that we haven't covered?
Just a little bit different than most meal prep companies on Long Island because it is a result-driven meal plan.
Yes, talk to us about the difference with that.
Again, the concept is to be result-driven, getting you results with quality food. So I always suggest for my clients to be on the program. The program works. I don't have a client to this day, 4 years, not get to their goal as long as they follow the meal plan the way it's supposed to be. Yeah.
So with that meal plan and program, is it just the meals, or are you also giving them, you know, fitness advice, or do you also have them couple up with maybe like a personal trainer?
I don't. But if you go on the website, you can pick your goal. So your goal might be weight loss. So you pick your meals that they're color coded. So say your weight loss is the red meals. You would pick all your red meals.
Okay.
So however,
tell us the color coded.
It's color coded. Trim and tone, I believe, is a green. I can't remember what the other one is off the top of my head, but I think it's like a maintenance one. Yeah.
Okay.
So you basically can color, and you can mix and match. It's not like if you're stuck in one goal, that's it. You can mix and match them, you know.
Yeah.
So they're portioned out to be result driven.
Okay. Because do you have those conversations with your clients as far as like, you know, are you also doing some sort of physical activity?
Yes, absolutely. You know? And that's where macros play a key.
Sure.
But on the website itself, it says, you know, if you work out X amount of days, you would pick these meals. So. And
do you also have, I didn't ask you this before, do you have a range of clients? You know, do you have clients that are as young as 18, you know, or, you know, just
we did forget to mention that.
No, that's okay.
So yes, I have clients, believe it or not, I have an MMA fighter trying to cut weight fast, and I have a mom and dad just trying to lose the last 5-10 pounds. You name it, I have all walks of people.
Great.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, and that's important too. I mean, again, you know, because as we are in these bodies longer, right? I don't want to say getting older, because we're youthing. Right. I like to think that, you know? I think it's a matter of, what are the things that you're putting into them? And sometimes, you know, it has to be the right foods, you know, so that you are preventing, you know, future illnesses, future diseases, so on and so forth.
Right. And I'm glad that you asked me also about the types of clients, because I think people think because I'm a bodybuilder that I'm trying to make everybody bodybuilder. I'm not. But do I have bodybuilders? Yes. But that's not what I'm trying to do. But if you want to look great in your next bikini, I don't know if you want to wear a bikini.
Hey, listen, I'll try anything once, you know.
But you know, I can get you there. And I feel very confident that I can.
No, and that's great. And then and I'm sorry, you know, Deb, we should have mentioned that before. You know, about bringing up. But I mean that, and that is great because it's just not about looking like a fitness model, looking like a bodybuilder. It's about being healthy. You know, eating the right things. You know, and especially with ICandy Meals. You know, I think that that's really great. You know, again, quality. You talk about, it's really, the website's super easy to use. Everything's customizable. What's the website again?
www.icandymeals.com.
Okay, great, awesome.
And we have access to a live chat, so somebody's always there to answer any questions that you have.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Well, Deb, thanks so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'm Travis Yussef, and thank you for watching Back to Business.